Good morning, and it is great to see so many people here today. I want to take this opportunity for a special welcome. Premier Ford,
Thank you.
Welcome to North Bay.
Mayor, thank you.
I want to say thank you on behalf of all the citizens of North Bay and Northern Ontario for your support, for your government support, our ministers that are here today supporting. But first of all, I want to certainly recognize somebody who's a close and dear friend of mine, MPP Vic Fedeli, for all the work he's done in the riding and right across this province. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to take time to put out to the ONTC team and Chad for all the work and the leadership that he provides and for bringing back Ontario Northland to what it should be. Hear, hear. We're here today to mark another milestone in the return of the Northlander, and we're all looking forward to seeing the train back in full service. This is such an important service for our northern communities. It connects people to jobs, education, medical appointments, and other services that aren't always easy to reach. It also helps our local businesses by bringing visitors and tourists to this area, supporting our economy and the entire economy for Northern Ontario. With that in mind, I want to hand things over to Chairman Alan Spacek. Al?
Good morning, bonjour, wache. I'm Alan Spacek, Chair of the Ontario Northland Transportation Commission, and it's a privilege to once again welcome you all back to the beautiful city of North Bay for another fantastic transportation announcement. Today, we're grateful to be joined by the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, PA to the Minister of Transportation, Ric Bresee, local MPP, Minister of Economic Development and Champion for Ontario Northland, Vic Fedeli, Minister Graydon Smith, and George Peary. His Worship spoke earlier, Chirico, and of course our CEO, our team leader, Chad Evans. And my fellow commissioners who are here today, William Ferguson, Katie Philp, Al Yeomans, and our Vice Chair, RJ Falcone. For those keeping track, this is already the fourth provincial announcement in 4 months this year, which goes to show how this government is serious about the North, and they're serious about the people of the North. On behalf of Ontario Northland, I want to again thank Premier Ford and his entire team for their support and resolve over the last several years. Big projects require bold leaders, and that's exactly what we have here at the podium this morning. We have leaders who are able to think big and deliver. We also have numerous Ontario Northland employees with us here today. These are the women and the men who turn the wrenches and therefore turn good government policy into reality. And without their hard work, none of this would be possible, so thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you again to Premier Ford and the countless individuals from north to south who have helped us push this project forward. And with that, it's my pleasure to welcome someone who's no stranger to Northern Ontario, PA Ric Bresee. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Al, for the kind introduction. It is great to be back here again in North Bay on behalf of Minister Sarkaria, alongside, of course, Premier Ford, Ontario Northland CEO Chad Evans, and the Chair, Alan Spacek. And of course, my colleagues, MPP Fedeli, MPP Peary, and MPP Smith are here. It's wonderful to have the whole team together. Our government was elected on a promise to protect Ontario. And that includes making sure that people in Northern Ontario have a safe and reliable way to get where they need to go. As we plan to bring the Northlander back into service, we've already reached several major milestones. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government has invested more than $100 million in rail infrastructure improvements all along the corridor. We completed the North Bay Rail Bypass, which will cut travel times by 15 minutes to the North Bay Station. We've renovated stations at Cochrane and Englehart, and renovations at North Bay Station are nearing completion. Construction's also underway at the Timmins Porcupine Station. We've rebuilt platforms, and we continue to install shelters at stations all along the corridor. Investing in fast and reliable transit is a key part of our government's plan to get people and goods moving. Today, we're one step closer to restoring Northlander service and transforming the way people travel across northeastern Ontario. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my good friend and someone you all know certainly, MPP Vic Fedeli. Thank you very much.
Well, as you can see, the Northlander is here, folks. Thank you, Premier Ford, for making this dream of the North a reality. For the people of Ontario, this means more choice and convenience in travel options. Here in North Bay, we felt the excitement of people seeing these blue and yellow train cars spotted up and down the tracks, texting photos as they saw it coming up. The anticipation, we heard daily about this anticipation for this train's return. Premier, it's not just about bringing back the Northlander train, but more importantly, it's restoring passenger rail service for the people who live here, who will rely on the train to reach medical appointments, concerts, sporting events in Toronto, and heading further north. It's about restoring a crucial transportation link, especially for those without access to reliable transportation. It's about the choice to take the train during our long winter season instead of having to drive yourself. These new train sets will offer modern amenities, comfortable seating, and better accessibility. You're going to see that as you walk through them today. It's about maximizing your time by booking a business class seating pod and holding virtual meetings there using the train's Wi-Fi. It's about exploring Ontario staycations so you can travel farther north for fishing trips or into the city for urban experiences. So imagine families starting at Union Station, heading north, maybe stopping here in North Bay to take in a Chief Commander 2 cruise, see the Dion Quince Museum, carry on the next day through to Timmins and on to Cochrane, overnight there, head to Moosonee on the Polar Bear Express, another great Ontario Northland train. After a fascinating day there, head back to Cochrane and then head home, maybe spending another night in one of our other northern towns. Today's announcement complements the acquisition, as MPP Bresee said, of 200 kilometers of track between North Bay and Washago, an investment that allows the province to sustain key rail infrastructure, improving both passenger and freight services along the corridor, which helps ensure the train will run on time. That was a crucial purchase. All the Northlander updates demonstrate that the Ontario government is fulfilling its promise to restore the Northlander. We promised safe, reliable, and affordable passenger rail service for the North, giving hardworking families better access to education, healthcare, and good-paying jobs. We've worked hard for 14 years to deliver what the people in Nipissing requested. This continues to position Northern Ontario's economy for growth, resilience, and long-term prosperity. Folks, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that's the Northlander. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce a really great friend of Ontario's North. First of all, the hardest working premier you'll ever find in the history of Ontario, and that is no exaggeration, and the hardest supporter, the most diligent supporter of Ontario's North. And I think this investment in the Northlander and the fact that it's here today proves that point. Ladies and gentlemen, our friend and yours, Premier Doug Ford.
Well, first of all, it's great to be here in North Bay, folks. I hopped on the train, I looked at everyone else in all these fancy suits, and I have my beautiful OPP jacket on. But you all look sharp. We got to find out where you get your suits from. First of all, you know, Vic, I'm just so proud of you. I'm so proud of everyone. And, we're alongside. I think you've been introduced about four times already, but I'll do it again. George, thank you. Great representative, great minister from Timmins and Graydon, just down the street in Muskoka there. And Rick, you've been heading this up, and I want to thank you, Rick. People had the opportunity to listen to you, but you've been instrumental in doing this, and the great job you're doing as a PA to the Minister of Transportation. And Mayor, thank you for welcoming us. What a great town you have, and there's no bigger champion down at Queen's Park than Vic. You should see this guy in action over North Bay. He jumps on top of the cabinet table and screaming and shouting. Everything goes to North Bay, but that means you're doing your job. Alan Chad from the Ontario Northland, thank you for your leadership. This wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for yourself and all the folks that are part of Ontario Northland. Folks, you can't see them, but this would not happen without everyone right behind the cameras. They deserve all the credit in the world. And even the folks there, I went to say hello to the people that are ready to sell tickets. They were ready like right now to sell tickets. So just incredible people. Folks, as we see, we've been under attack from President Trump's tariffs, and it continues to cause economic uncertainty. Our government has a plan to protect Ontario. We may not be able to control President Trump, but what we can control, the decisions we make right here in Ontario, by building the most competitive, resilient, and self-reliant economy in the G7. I always say we don't need President Trump's approval to get permits a lot quicker when it comes to mining. We don't need President Trump's approval when we're leading the world in nuclear energy. We don't need his approval to get homes built a lot faster. We can. We're going to be self-reliant, and we are an economic powerhouse around the world. As we found out when we visited Texas, then I have to tell you, I always say this, I differentiate between President Trump's attacks and the great American people that treated us like gold, and we walked away from our trip in Texas, 13 stops in a matter of 3 cities in a little over 2 and a bit days, with billions of dollars of investment right here in Ontario. And I always say nothing is better than looking across the desk, eye to eye with your customer. Not on the screen, not on a telephone, but they appreciated us coming down there, and they're rewarding us with billions of dollars in investment right here in Ontario. We can't afford to be complacent, and we need to be ready for everything. That's why it's more important than ever that we deliver on our plan so we can keep workers on the job and protect Ontario's economy, protect Ontario's communities like we're doing here in North Bay, protect their jobs, and protect families. We're cutting taxes, red tape, and unnecessary paperwork, saving people and businesses $12 billion a year and saving 1.8 million working hours every single year. And that was our #1 selling feature when we're down in the U.S. We have the brightest, the smartest. We have the ingenuity, unlike anywhere in the world, right here in Ontario. This includes our government's $1.1 billion small business tax cut, which is a cut of more than 30% that is saving more than 375,000 small businesses $5,000 each and every single year. And I know you have quite a few small businesses here, Mayor and Vic, and that's $5,000 back into their pockets. What do they do with it? They invest it into their people, their technology, into their infrastructure, maybe new equipment. This is time and money that businesses are reinvesting into more jobs and bigger paychecks for their workers. And we're not stopping there. Across the province, we're investing $236 billion in roads, highways, transit, hospitals, and schools so we can connect communities, create opportunities, and help unlock the economic potential of regions like Northern Ontario. For example, here in North Bay, we're investing over $13 million through our municipal housing infrastructure program to support water and infrastructure projects, enabling the construction of 880 new homes and helping protect more than 25,000 more. We've invested nearly $29 million to build the new Mapleview Public School in North Bay and expand St. Teresa's Catholic Elementary School in Callander. We're supporting North Bay Regional Health Center and the Mattawa Hospital with over $26 million in annual funding to improve care in the community. And we're investing nearly $1.2 million to connect 2,000 new local patients to primary care. We're widening Highway 69 from 2 to 4 lanes between Sudbury and Parry Sound and planning the first 2-in-1 highway pilot project in all of North America. It's never been done. We're doing it on Highway 11 north of North Bay. It'll be the first. We're also investing more than $350 billion to refurbish the 121 GO Transit rail cars at Ontario Northland's facility right here in North Bay to create hundreds of good-paying manufacturing jobs right in this community. As we deliver on the largest transit expansion in North America, we're bringing back the Northlander. For the first time in 14 years since it was canceled by the previous government, I'm thrilled to officially welcome the Northlander back to North Bay today as it continues critical testing ahead of the return to service later this year. This first train set will soon complete burn-in testing, and Ontario Northland is now rigorously testing it along the entire route to make sure everything is operating safely and efficiently. Well, the next 2 train sets will follow in the coming months. Once it's up and running, the Northlander will connect passengers from Toronto to Timmins and Cochrane in comfort, with accessible seats and washrooms, charging ports and Wi-Fi across 16 stops and 740 kilometers. To increase convenience, our government recently introduced legislation to give riders in communities along the line more flexibility with rideshare services to ensure people have the reliable options to get safely to and from stations, and to keep trips on the Northlander affordable. Fares are launching at roughly 10% above the cost of an Ontario Northland bus ticket, with discounts for seniors, veterans, children, families of 2 or more, and people traveling for medical appointments. The Northlander is about more than transportation. It's about connecting people to life-changing opportunities and seniors to vital medical appointments. It's about helping students getting home to their loved ones, boosting tourism, supporting small businesses across the north, and getting miners and skilled workers to their work sites. Bringing the Northlander back means stronger towns and local industries along the entire route, and good jobs and economic growth across the north for generations to come. Our government will continue to invest in the largest plan to build in Canadian history, including roads, transit, highways, so we can connect communities and lower costs for families as we make Ontario the most resilient, self-reliant, and the most competitive economy in the G7. I want to thank you and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now take questions from the media. Media can come to the microphone and state their name and outlet. Just a reminder, the format is 1 question and 1 follow-up. First question.
Hi.
Hello, welcome Premier Jennifer Hamilton McCharles with the North Bay Nugget.
Hi, Jennifer.
I'm just swinging from the train station to the highway. There's been 10 deaths on Highway 1117 in 2026. Can you tell me when the province is going to fix Highway 1117, and can you provide real timelines with real progress?
Well, maybe I'll pass that to Rick in a minute, but in saying that, there's no government that's invested more in highways in the north than what we have. I think the number, I could be wrong, is about 600 million, somewhere around there. About $600 million. We're going full steam on making sure that we expand highways that no government's ever expanded before. The 1117, the 2-in-1, that's never been done in North America. We're expanding that treacherous trek down from Sudbury, 69, making that 2 lanes on either side. It's going to make it a lot safer. But I'll pass it over to you, Rick.
Thank you, Jennifer, for the question. And of course, whenever there's a tragedy on any of our highways, our thoughts go out to the families involved. It's something that Safety is our number one priority, and it's a non-political statement. We have to have safety. And our theme is to protect Ontario. Safety is one of those big pieces. As the Premier just said, we're investing in 11 North. We're investing in 1117 going west. We're investing in 69. These roads are being expanded, whether it's two-laning them or 2+1, the new innovative approach. And on top of that, the maintenance processes that we do, the snow clearing processes that we're achieving. Our target was 90% to achieve those goals. We're actually achieving 98%, meeting those timelines and getting sure that the roads are cleared as quickly as possible. I think that we've invested more than any other government in maintaining our roads and expanding and improving the safety of those roads, and we'll continue to do so.
Thank you. Premier, just my follow-up question. Can you tell me what the province's plan is for nurse practitioners? In Northern Ontario, thousands of people don't have a doctor and are currently being forced to pay for services of nurse practitioners.
Well, again, I go back to investments in healthcare of $93 billion. We're hiring more nurse practitioners. I'm a big fan of them. We're paying for doctors' educations. We're paying for nurses' education if they work in a rural area. And it's never been done. We're building more medical schools than ever before in the history of our province. But I'm a big fan of nurse practitioners, and we're going to continue hiring more and more nurse practitioners. And again, no one should ever, and if they ever do, get billed separately, they need to contact your local representative, because you shouldn't be paying on your credit card. You pay on your OHIP card. And that's what we're focused on. But again, I just want to emphasize, we came into office, there was $60 billion being spent. And now we're up to $94 billion on healthcare. We're just putting unprecedented amounts of money into healthcare. And as we saw our province grow unprecedentedly, 2 million people, since we've been in office, we're going to continue to keep up with the demand. We're investing over $60 billion. I think that's a conservative estimate, building 50 new hospitals. You're either getting a new hospital or a expanded part of your hospital. So we're focused 100% on healthcare.
Okay. Good morning. Sorry, Sarah Cook, Almagua News and MuskokaRegion.com. I'm here to ask, the Better Regional Government Act gives the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing the ability to select a warden for Simcoe County and the chairs of the regional governments, including Muskoka. Will there be a role for those councils in the selection process?
Well, we're like we've done before. We've selected chairs. It's kind of all split up all across the province. We want to keep consistency across the board. And appoint the chairs for the regions. We're going to work collectively and collaboratively, especially with the mayors and the regions. I'd be very frank. There isn't a mayor that I've talked to that agrees 100% with what the region does. There's always a lot of conflict. We're going to put a chair to follow the mandate that we got elected on, and that's moving jobs and the economy and transportation and infrastructure forward. And we have to make homes affordable too. There's a lot of communities and cities that are waiving the DC charges to be able to build more homes, affordable homes. And all of a sudden, regions come along and they jack up the taxes more. So we're going to make sure we work collaboratively with the cities that work within the region.
And so you said the chair will be appointed, not elected. Why do you feel having a non-elected official overseeing an elected body will benefit taxpayers?
Well, it's going to benefit taxpayers because we got elected with a clear mandate to move the regions forward. We're pouring billions of dollars of infrastructure into these regions, and the mayors, they need a voice. They have a certain voice, but it's unusual that I have more complaints from mayors about the region than I've ever seen. I don't know of one mayor that says, oh, the region's great. They're doing a fantastic job. No, they're getting in the way of getting productivity done. And I'm just speaking on behalf of a lot of mayors that I've talked to across the province. It might be different in some regions, but I can assure you, they want to move forward. They were happy as anything when we gave them planning And the ironic thing is, so we pull planning off the region, and I'm not talking about this community, I'm talking about certain communities where the growth is. And guess what? They keep all the planners. Rather than transferring them to the cities, they're still on the payroll. Unacceptable. So we're going to go in there, we're going to streamline the system, make it more efficient, respect the taxpayers, and you can't start seeing double-digit tax increases from the region. And a perfect example is Niagara. Niagara has 125 or 126 politicians. You got to be kidding me. That's more than the entire province that we have 124 for 500,000 people. I'm going to repeat that. 126 elected politicians in Niagara for 500,000 people. That's a broken system. And we're going to streamline it and make it efficient because the people in Niagara deserve better. They're getting double-digit tax increases because they're too busy. These other folks are too busy filling their own pockets, paying their salaries.
Premier Chris Dawson with the Village Media Bay Today in North Bay. Welcome
Chris.
to North Bay.
Thank you.
We've had some challenges up here with the Near North District School Board and some governance issues. When do you feel those will be resolved and back to normal up here?
Well, Minister Paul Callander is doing an incredible job, again, holding school boards accountable. I've told these stories. The school board doesn't have the right to go on a trip to Italy and spend $100,000 on artwork for schools. These are real stories, folks. Those $100,000, and by the way, spending more on their whole trip. So the $100,000 for the artwork, I think it was over $100,000 for them to fly over to Italy to buy artwork. You got to be kidding. Waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and ordering hamburgers and milkshakes and everything else. Are you serious? On the taxpayers' money? You know, it's ridiculous. I'll tell you one thing. I know Vic, he travels around the world. His expense is zero, and I don't expect that from anyone. My expense is zero, and I don't expect it. But come on, you know, ordering flat screen TVs, 4 laptops, 5 laptops. I could go on and on and on about the waste of taxpayers' money in the school boards. Their focus should be spending money with students, with teachers, and working with parents. That's their focus. And what we announced is $750 for each teacher from kindergarten up to grade 8, that they have a purchasing card, that they can go online and buy their own pens and papers and anything else they need for their class. Because too many times, I saw it firsthand, I went into a store and one teacher was buying stuff for their classroom out of their own pocket. And then I went to another store, I saw a couple teachers buying it. I actually offered to pay one. So it's unacceptable. They're paying out of their own pocket. For the first time ever in the history of Ontario, they're going to have $750 on a purchasing card to buy what they need for the classrooms.
Hi, Premier. I'm Leah Borth-Cooperman with the Narwhal. I'd like to ask about the Species Conservation Act, which I know the City of North Bay has supported, but some ministries have raised serious concerns about. How would you respond to government experts saying the changes could create serious gaps in protection for species at risk?
No, that's a priority to make sure we protect all species at risk and focus and work with our Ministry of Environment. That's what I believe in. So there'll always be consultation. But as I've said, we aren't going to hold up Highway 413, the Bradford bypass, over a grasshopper. Not happening. We have a mandate to build, and we're going to build. But we're going to respect the environment at all costs. But we aren't going to, stop a highway 413 that some people believe we should. It's unacceptable. So folks, Ontario is 1,070,000 square kilometers. We love our nature. We love the environment. And we live in the greatest jurisdiction in the world. Just to give you an idea, one of our ridings, just one riding, is the size of France. We're twice the size of Texas. We can get to Florida quicker than we can drive from one end of our province up to Kenora. It's beautiful. We're going to maintain it. We're going to maintain the 250,000 lakes that we have here. It's a beautiful province, and we're going to make sure it stays that way.
My follow-up question is that you're moving ahead with the consolidation of conservation authorities without municipal support. How can your government move forward with this plan?
Well, again, we had rules all over the province, all different rules. No matter where you are, we had conservation authorities having rules in one place, having rules in another, and it was just scattered all over the place. We had 5 conservation authorities in one city, Hamilton. Imagine dealing with 5 conservation authorities. We are not cutting anything. We're enhancing it. We're going to give them more opportunity, more funding to really focus on what matters. And that's conservation. It's not about someone building a balcony on the back of their house that gets held up for 3 years because Conservation Authority. They should look at the watershed and they should be focused on conservation. And we have the best person in the entire province, as far as I'm concerned, that's going to head it up, standardize it, work with municipalities and 9 conservation authorities. It's called efficiency. And by the way, folks, we're the only jurisdiction in the entire country to have these conservation authorities. We'll work with them, but we're going to make it stronger.
Hi, Premier. My name is Esperance from CBC Sudbury. Many people in the North say the planned schedule or the late schedule for the Northlander does not meet their needs. So what is the point of bringing the train back if people cannot realistically use it?
I'm going to fully disagree, but I think I'll pass it over to Rick. You want to talk, or what? Let's talk, Chad. I got to tell you, Chad and Al have done a phenomenal job. And anyone who complains needs to get their head shaken a little bit. We're spending a tremendous amount of money for people that would never, ever have an opportunity to hop on the train. Vic Fedeli worked his back off for 8 years promoting the train. We went out and bought beautiful trains. So, work around the schedule. This isn't going to be like the TTC. You get a delivery every 15 minutes. We should be fortunate that they have a train going up to one of the 16 northern locations that they would never, ever see after the previous government cut it. So, that's my comment about them. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for that question. Chad Evans here. I'm the CEO here at Ontario Northland. Regarding the schedule, and in particular schedule in the North, when we began this process through the business case, we conducted extensive community consultation. We called them community connection events. I attended many of them. We had a large team out at them. We did surveys, MTO did surveys, and overwhelmingly, people wanted to arrive in the southern parts of Ontario, the GTA, in the morning so that they could conduct whatever business it is that they want to conduct there, be it medical appointments, be it a business meeting, sporting events, etc. And that was overwhelming. We knew that meant you would need to leave Northern Ontario early in the morning or through the night. And that's not an unusual reality. People today that depart Northern Ontario, depart Timmins, depart New Liskeard in order to reach a point in Southern Ontario, they do travel early in the morning or through the night in order to get there in their journey. So we're happy to offer this service. We're happy to offer a service that meets the needs of what we heard when we did that consultation, and we'll continue to listen to people as we roll out the service.
Thank you. My following up is for...
So much more politically correct than I am. Boy.
My second question, Premier, coming from my colleague, the Liberals in Ottawa are just 1 seat away from majority. Is that really what you want as a progressive conservative Premier?
I don't look at political stripes, and I don't give 2 hoots. I'll work with anyone. I don't care if it's an NDP mayor in Toronto or if it's NDP colleagues of mine, Premier Eby or Wab Canoe, which is a good pal of mine. I work with someone who wants to help Ontario. And if it's a federal government of any political stripe, I will work with them. And it so happened to be Prime Minister Carney. We're working extremely, extremely well. We just announced an $8.8 billion investment about building new homes, getting rid of the HST. That's 13%. So if someone wants to buy a new build here in North Bay, they're getting a 13% reduction right off the hop. That's who I look at. And we work very well together. I don't control the federal elections or the by-elections, but whatever happens, happens. And I'm going to continue working collaboratively with the federal government, no matter what political stripe they are.
Hi, Premier. Eric Tashner with CTV News. I'd like to echo my colleagues' remarks. Welcome back to North Bay. Just to follow up on that, are you comfortable with Prime Minister Carney getting a majority government if he gets there with floor crossings as opposed through next week's by-elections?
That's up to the local MPPs. They're going to have to face their voters when they go back to the polls. But that's a system that we have, and we're going to work with anyone. Doesn't matter if Prime Minister Carney has a minority or a majority government. As long as he works with the province of Ontario and supports us, that's all that matters. And so far, we've been working very well together. Sure, we may agree to disagree the odd time, but at the end of the day, we've done phenomenal work together in supporting the people of Ontario jointly.
And a question for Chad, if you don't mind, about launch date. Chad, is there a more concrete timeline on when the Northlander will be returning to full service? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So regarding service launch, right behind us today is train set number 1 that we're going to use to operate the Northlander service. There's 2 more identical train sets to this that we will be operating to deliver the full service. This train set, as the Premier's remarks indicated earlier, has reached substantial completion of its burn-in phase. And following this, what we're moving into is a period called revenue service demonstration. During this revenue service demonstration, our staff will be on board the train, learning the systems. They'll be operating the train through the entire corridor from Timmins and Cochrane south to Toronto Union Station, stopping at the stations, learning the interaction with the infrastructure along the way, and that's going to take some time. Meanwhile, we have train set 2 that's going to go through the same set of steps. That train set has arrived in Toronto. It's going through static testing now. It'll be a number of weeks or months before it begins doing the same service, followed by train set 3. Once those 3 train sets reach substantial completion of testing, we'll be confident to announce a start date. And we won't announce that start date until we are confident that we can operate a safe, accessible service throughout the north. But we're happy to report progress on train set 1 here today, and we're happy to welcome you on board to see what it looks like.
Premier Richard Coffin, Vista Radio.
Hi, Richard.
People seen the train around town and enjoy seeing it, welcoming it back, but they really want to know about the schedule, which we just heard about, but also about fares. What do you think a fair price is to take a ride on this train?
Back to Chad, before you start, when I saw the fares, I thought, boy, this is economic. They have discounts for everything from veterans to seniors to families. They've priced it very competitively, and what I've seen, it's about 10% more than a bus ride. And I love, it's great that they have the buses, but man, you have a choice between that bus and this, night and day.
Thank you, Premier. Thank you for the question. And echoing the Premier's comments, we've priced approximately a 10% increased premium over top of what a comparable bus route might look like. But what I want to emphasize, part of today's press release, you'll be able to find sample fares on our website following today's press conference here. You'll be able to see some examples of destinations, what's the cost from Timmins to North Bay to Toronto. There's a number of combinations there as examples of what it could cost. It also gets into some of those, what's it cost for an adult, what's it cost for a child, what's it cost for traveling for medical. So all these examples are on there. Let me be clear, tickets are not for sale today. Okay, but we are announcing what the ticket fare schedule will look like so that we can answer one of the most popular questions that I get all the time, and that is, how much is a ticket going to cost? So I echo the Premier's sentiments. I think it's affordable. We heard from the start of those consultations I mentioned earlier that people want an affordable ticket. So we priced a fair price for this wonderful service, and I look forward to you exploring that further.
This will be the last reporter.
Good morning, Clark Heipel here from Cogeco News in North Bay.
Hi.
Question for the Premier. Is the onus on the rider to support this train so it remains in place? Is there a pressure on ridership to keep this financially viable long term?
Well, with anything, I think it's up to the customer to show the province and Ontario Northland that they want this train. We worked hard. We didn't work hard. Vic started this from the day I met him. 8 years ago, fought for it and put a fabulous team together. And this is the best announcement the North has ever seen since I've been elected. It connects 740 kilometers, which is a massive stretch, connects 16 different stops. It supports the people in so many different areas, as you've heard over and over again. This is the best announcement ever in the 8 years we've been in office for the people of the North. And I'm happy as punch for them. So they'll utilize it, and it's going to be great.
This concludes today's questions.
Well, again, folks, thank you so much. I want to thank everyone from Ontario Northland for all their work. I want to thank our whole team that put this together. This is a phenomenal, game-changing, life-changing opportunity to get to appointments and visit the city, visit other towns. So utilize the Northlander. It's an incredible train, and hopefully the media, you'll be able to go on and take a look at it. The best thing that's ever happened to the North. Take care and God bless.